Hello and welcome to a view from the South Stand. I have got Ryan with me today, and it's just finished Man City 2, Spurs 3 at the Etihad Stadium. Usually, I start with formations and stuff, but let's start with the main man himself today, Harry Kane. How was his performance for you today?
Mate, that has got to be one of the best individual performances I've seen, not only from a Spurs player this season, but from any player this season. His performance today was ridiculous. He wasn't in the game for parts of it, but when he was in the game, he was effective, which for me outweighs the fact that he wasn't in it at times. And it's his assist, or not the assist, but that pass to put Son through for the first goal. It's outrageous. I thought today on the pitch you got Kevin De Bruyne, who for me is the best passer of football in the world.
Yeah,
Right,
he got shown up today. Yeah,
Harry. I rated Harry Kane's passing anyway, but today he outshone De Bruyne from a passing point of view, and I think he is right up there with him in terms of his passing accuracy, not just on his right foot, but his left foot is just as good. And just everything about his performance today, his passing, his finishing, his hold up play, everything he did just turned to gold. And if it wasn't for VAR, he would have had a hat trick. But I'm not going to nitpick. It's 10 out of 10 or 11 out of 10. It really was one of the best performances I have seen from him ever.
do you think that was a bit of a kick in the teeth to Man City, or a bit of a thing to say you should have spent 150 on me, not 100 million on Jack Grealish in summer?
Well, to be honest, it's more for them. If I'm
Yeah,
being perfectly honest, it's almost. I mean, I don't want to say it, but it was almost like the perfect audition for him, but 6 months too late. If that makes sense.
yeah.
What he did today, just I mean, City are going to probably win the title anyway. But what he did today against them showed that he should be playing at the highest level of football. Uh, he should be playing in the Champions League. And, I'm not going to I'm not going to put Spurs down at all today because the performance was unbelievable. But it does show um, that City have probably. I don't know if they'll go back for him in the summer. They might do whatever. But it does prove that City should have spent that 100 million, like you said, on or put it towards Harry Kane, rather than Jack Grealish, I suppose, because it probably, based on today, would have been worth the money.
Just looking at City, because I just want to talk more about Harry Kane, because obviously because of his performance. But if City was in the other team today, was that a hiding to nothing?
Uh,
Do you feel like City, if City, do you feel like City are missing a Harry Kane in their team? Is that what stopping them from going over that line?
no, I just think. I mean, if you base it off today's performance, I think even if City had, I mean, that's different. That's right. Say even if City had Harry Kane in their team,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have made a difference. But then we wouldn't have had him on our team.
Yeah.
But I think if you just base it today's performance, we did everything that needs to be done to beat Man City. There's only one way. There's only one way you can beat Man City, and that is unless you're Liverpool. There's only one way you can beat City, and that is on the counter attack. If you take the
And
game
even
to
Liverpool do the same. Let's be honest. Liverpool do the same with them. They play them on the counter attack with Salah and Mane, and they get more joy
yeah,
because they've got better players. But you're right. I totally agree with you. There's only one way you can play against
mm,
City, and it's just about doing it for 90 minutes.
yeah. And to be honest, we have got one of the best players or best two players to play counter attacking football with. You've got Kane
Yeah.
who can pick a pass from anything, and you've got Son who will constantly make that run off the last defender into space, and Kane will find him all the time, which is proven now. They've got that record, haven't they, with the
Yeah.
the combined goals. So we did everything today that needed to be done to beat City, and it really was a masterclass, really, not just from the players, but from Conte as well, just to realise and pick the right players. I think the starting lineup was what it needed to be
Yeah.
because you needed, I really like the look of Bentancur in midfield. Finally a goddamn player in our midfield with a bit of composure. And we needed someone like that today because you got Højbjerg. He's going to get stuck in. He's going to take players. He's going to really get stuck in. And Bentancur really brought composure to the midfield and allow. He gave the ball away a couple of times, but in general, he broke up play really well. And he actually started. He's really. I was watching him today. He's really good at creating space around himself, if that makes sense. So he'll get the ball, whether he tackles someone, whether he intercepts the ball. He reads the game really well, but he creates a lot of space around himself, which gives him that extra second or two to be able to pick a pass, which more often than not, especially today, was a pass going forward. And it was a pass going forward into space, which then set us up for a counter-attack. So I think, the starting lineup was perfect today. And then, we executed the game plan perfectly.
So you just going on that, the starting lineup, so that was going to be my next question. When you looked at it, was that the starting lineup you would have chose, or was you? Well, the question is, would you have gone with Royale or would you have gone with Matt Doherty? Is the question.
It's a tough question. I'll start right. So I'm happy. I'll get to Royal in a minute, but I'm happy that we've finally seen Dyer and Romero in a back three. I know they played in the back four against Chelsea. And then I think Dyer's missed the last. He didn't play against Southampton. He didn't play against Wolves. So to finally see them two in a back three, I thought them two were phenomenal. Absolute pair of Rolls Royces at the back. Both 10 out of 10 defensive performance. So to see them together was good, and I was happy I see that. Royal and Doherty, we both know as Spurs fans, they're not. They're not. I mean, I've but I've praised Royal a few times on the channel, and it's come back to bite me in the arse a couple of times. But I think we just need a little bit more in the right wing back position. I don't know. Doherty's dead. He's deadwood. He's just there until the summer now, I think, and I think he'll get moved on. I don't know if Royal is going to be given the chance to prove himself, or if we'll bring a new right wing back in, and he'll play. Like there'll be competition for space. I'm not sure, but I think out of the two, I think Royal, he got exposed a little bit, and Pep Guardiola was actually quite clever because he put Cancelo down that right flank today because he knew, or he gambled on Royal starting, and he knew that if Royal started, that Cancelo was going to get a lot of space. So that was clever from Guardiola.
Do you think though, if Cancelo would have played right back instead of Cole Walker, we would have had a lot more joy with Son? I know we had joy with the first goal, but it just seemed to be Cole Walker's main job was to make sure Son weren't running through.
Yeah, Cancelo is fantastic going forward, but Cancelo is Man City's version of Royal for us. The geezer can't defend. So much space. I mean, two of our goals, were his fault, being lazy defending. Yeah. So I think, if you're right, I think if he was over on the right, I think Son gets in all the time. Like, because you said Walker, really, that's what he was good at when he was at Spurs, was recovery runs. Yeah. And I think you're right. If Cancelo was over on the other side, we may have had more joy down there. But then I worry who would they have played at left back? Zinchenko maybe, or even if they'd have put Walker out there, I don't know. I think Royal would have been in trouble still.
I think Zinchenko would have probably played out there today. Just going back to Kane and Son, just wanted to look at those two. So there was about a few months back on earlier stream, we were saying, and I'll be included, that it felt like Son and Kane had lost their mates. Yeah. After today, could you see that they had a bit more camaraderie back from what they had last season?
Yeah, 100%. Every football player, every partnership, it has its rocky time. Son and Kane were unplayable last season, and then this season, it was almost destined for it to happen. Where it wasn't going to glue together at some points. It happens. That's football. But I think especially since Conte's come in, Kane is not back to his complete best, and today really showed that he is almost back to his best. But we're definitely seeing a better side of him, and Son just feeds off of that. Son feeds. I mean, Son is again. I've been critical of Son this season as well, rightly so, I believe. But I just think that when Kane plays like he did today, it really Son just feeds off of it, and it's almost like Son gets this extra boost, this extra confidence, this extra swag about him, and he's just there. They are really when they're on their form. I can't really think of a better partnership in the Premier League. I mean, I'm not sure about around the world, but even just in the Premier League, I don't think there is a more deadly duo than them two. I can't think off the top of my head. I think they are unplayable on their day.
That's 3 mistakes in 2 games for Hugo.
Mm.
Would you be looking for another keeper in the summer? Or is it a case of actually Hugo can get away with this one because actually look at the saves he made in the second half to keep us in the game?
Do you know what? I knew this question was going to come up. Yeah, it is three mistakes. We've all come and conceded, and we've conceded goals from them. Today's
But
one,
yeah,
I think
go on.
I think today's one. I think he should be gathering that. He should.
Yeah.
And when I first watched it, I thought, oh, for Christ's sake, he's done it again. But when I've actually watched it back after the game, and it is a difficult one to gather, especially when a player's running across you. Because De Bruyne actually ran across Lloris just as the ball came in. Now, I'm not justifying the fact that Lloris should gather that. He should bring that in. He's he's one of the best in the world. He should be bringing that in. So I think 3 mistakes, 3 goals. Yeah, you can be critical, but I don't think I'll be looking for. I mean, I don't think Galini's going to stay anyway. So I think we may be in the market for a goalkeeper anyway. But I think we're going to have to be very clever bringing a goalkeeper in if we do bring one in, because Lloris isn't getting any younger. He has just signed a new contract, and
To be honest,
we are going to have to try and find a successor. So I think we're going to have to be
well,
clever.
Lloris said when he signed the contract is he's looking for a successor to helping Spurs find a successor in his position. So I'm looking at it going, maybe he's not looking to play next season. He's looking to help whoever comes in next take the number 1 spot and make it their own, whoever that may be. So you never know. But I'm also looking at it as in, even though Hugo's made those mistakes, you look at Wolves last week and you look at Man City today. He's made saves after that he's kept us in the game against Wolves. Like, no matter how we want to put it across, he's kept us in there. I know it could have been more, but again today, that save from was it Gundogan
Mate,
that save, you
madness.
can't. It's madness, and that's the thing we have to Jekyll and Hyde with Hugo, and it's just that time of the season where he's making these mistakes because he's probably been one of our best players this season.
Oh, 100%. Like it's like you said, a lot of managers have said over the years that goalkeepers more often than not will win you 10 to 15 points a season, and more often than not gets you either titles or top 4 or trophies, whatever. So you keep he's made these mistakes, but he has that I think it is outweighed by the saves that he has made. Like that save against that Gundogan today. I'm watching it on the TV and you can see it from where Gundogan's hit it, and you can see the bend. And I'm like, as soon as he's hit that, that's going in. And then he comes across and saves it. It's a world-class save. So, I think these mistakes have been, at the moment, if he cuts them out and that's just them 3, I think you can look past them when you weigh up what he's done to save us and earn us points.
And one guy, let's talk about one of the new signers because we've already spoke about Bentancur. Let's talk about Kulu.
Mm-hmm.
What did you make of his performance today?
And another one. There was a few players today. He was one of them that he did his job well. He did what he needed to do. He got stuck in. I think most Spurs fans will agree he's not blessed with pace. He's not the quickest player, but today he was effective. Sort of similar to Kane, actually. He was effective when he needed to be. That was the first goal, his goal, our first goal. He kept up with play. He carried on his run, and he was in the right place at the right time, and actually very calmly put that ball into the net because the player sliding in front of him, very very calmly, because there would have been a few players that may have taken a touch there. So he very calmly put that into the net. And I think everything he did, not only did he put in an attacking shift today, but he also put in a defensive shift.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I
Great.
love more than the way we set up today, when not only your wing backs, but when your wingers put in a great performance going forward, which is what they're meant to do. But when they put in a great performance at the back and they get stuck in and they win the ball and they break play up, I love it. It's fantastic. It's one of my, as a football fan, it's one of my favourite things to watch when it's my team. Is a player really put a shift in, not only at the top but at the bottom in defence. And yeah, he was one of the he was in the same bracket as Romero, Dyer. I think Højbjerg was good today. I think Højbjerg today was almost like the Højbjerg of old, like last season.
Do you think? Do you think that's because? And this is why I was a bit concerned that he didn't play last week against Wolves. Do you think he's found his partner in Bentancur? They complement each other.
Yeah, that's
Just
what I
by
was
seeing
saying.
what
Yeah,
you saw today, yeah.
yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Højbjerg is one of them players that gets stuck in. Bentancur's that composed player. So I think, like you said, they complement each other. And I think, yeah, you're probably right. He's found a partner. I don't think he actually had a bad partnership at times under Mourinho with Moussa Sissoko. I thought their partnership was actually quite good
Yeah,
sometimes.
agreed. Agreed, yeah, agreed,
But
yeah.
but we all know that Sissoko has zero composure. So
Yeah.
I think Bentancur, I think he's very rare. Player comes from abroad and almost settles in straight away.
Oh,
Players like
yeah, especially from
Sir
South America.
Sergio Aguero is really one that stands out to me that just hits the ground running from
Yeah,
overseas. And I think Bentancur is really he's hit the ground running. For me, it's almost like we bought him from another Premier League team. It's like he's been
yes.
playing in the Premier League for
No,
2 or 3 years.
agreed, yeah.
He's and I think you're right. I think Højbjerg's found a partner there. I just hope that today with Højbjerg is a bit of confidence for him and the start of him going back to how he played in that season under Mourinho, because he was phenomenal that season.
Yeah. And top four. Do we talk about it? Do we not?
Well, well, on the last time I was on the channel when we did that transfer deadline day, I've mugged myself off a little bit, and because I really sort of, I picked this up quite a bit, didn't I? I said I was confident that we'd get in the top four, this, that, and the other. So I've learned from my mistake. I think, listen, the
So,
way
go on.
you base it on today's game. Look, we went into today, every single fan. There probably isn't many Spurs fans that thought we were going to get anything from today. We've gone to City and we've won the game. So that proves how unpredictable the Premier League can be. Now, I was talking to one of my mates the other day, and he asked me, he said, would you rather be in the position Spurs are in now, as in got the games in hand and they can see what they need to do? Or would you rather be one of the teams that Spurs are chasing who have played the 2 or 3 games extra? And I actually said to him, I would rather have the points on the board because
Yeah,
the job's done.
jobs. Yeah,
You can't control teams below you in the league playing less games. As long as your job's done, the points are on the board. Teams are chasing. So I would
yeah,
rather be in their position, but listen, it's so unpredictable. Like I also wrote Wolves off in the live thing we did, and look at
yeah.
them. They're right in the race. So it's so difficult to call. As a Spurs fan, I love to sit here and say I'm confident that we're gonna get in there, but I've learnt that lesson, and I'm just gonna say the classic game by game. As long as we get 3 points, on to the next one. That's the way I'm looking at it now.
Do you think the rearranged game against Arsenal is going to, and probably the game against Man United, have now become the two most important fixtures in it?
I think so. Yeah, I still think
Um,
that United game is well, Arsenal's important no matter the circumstances, but I think
yeah.
United's
The top four
that
race,
game
yeah.
at Old Trafford, Arsenal's an advantage because we're at home.
Yeah.
I think we've got some tough games. We've still got Liverpool away. We've got Arsenal at home, West Ham at home, Leicester at home, United away. So we've still got that's 5 tough games right there.
Yeah.
So I think they're all that's 5 cup finals for me. But I do think that United game is going to really be the one. If we go there and take 3 points like we did today,
And we're still in it, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I looked at our next two games: Burnley on Wednesday and Leeds on Sunday or Saturday, whenever it is. That really should be 6 points. I said the same after before Southampton and Wolves, but
This is the
you
thing,
know,
yeah.
it's so like the Premier League is so unpredictable. It's what makes it the best league in the world. But do you know what? As a Spurs fan, yes, I do still fancy our chances, and winning today really put us back in the mix. If we'd have lost today, I would have probably had one foot out the door and said top four is probably a stretch now. But
Yeah.
given the fact we've picked up 3 points today, I think that's a real statement to the other teams chasing that. We've lost our last two, embarrassingly, but we've now won against the champions and probably one of the best teams in the world. So we're here and we ain't going away until the doors fully shut.
And as I always ask, last question of the day, I don't really want to ask because I probably know what the answer is, but man of the match today.
Well, it's obviously it's going to be Harry Kane. There's no thing about it. It's one of the like I said, one of the best individual performances I've seen ever in a Spurs shirt, and probably this season from any player. But there's a few players. There's a few. Kulusevski was good. Romero, Dyer, Højbjerg. There was a lot of good performances today. Everyone did their job, and yeah, we got the result the only way you can really get a result against City. Everyone was disciplined. Everyone was effective when they needed to be, and yeah, like our front three stats today, by the way: Son with 2 assists, Kane with 2 goals and an assist, and Kulusevski with a goal and an assist. That's mental stats from a front three.
Yeah, probably needed to. And looking at that, it probably did need change, and maybe that Lucas was the issue. And this is really hard to say because Lucas has been good. Maybe Lucas was the issue between Kane and Son.
Maybe,
Looking at it,
maybe it was
and that's maybe where it's come
Kulusevski.
from.
Yeah, maybe Kulusevski was the answer. I'm not going to be. It's one good performance, but
Yeah.
if players they feed off of confidence. So hopefully he builds off this, and yeah, strength to strength.
Ryan, thank you for your time today. And as always, anyone who's watching, please like and subscribe. And as we always finish on, come on, you Spurs.
Up the Spurs.